Okay, so here we are, just another day in budgie breeding program maintenance. All these cages out here are from the breeding cage or from quarantine. So before we can put them back in the breeding shed, they have to be cleaned up. So I bring them out here, spray them down, use that scrubber brush over there, clean them off. I scrub off the perches and rinse out the bowls, and then I leave them sit out here in the sun. It's going to be about 90 degrees today. 90 degrees of direct sunlight on hot metal cages and hot metal trays will kill anything. I could have the bubonic plague going through my flock, and it would be gone after this treatment. Sunshine and heat is such a lovely thing. It makes sterilizing stuff so much easier. There's also a bunch of nest boxes over there, and you'll see that they are all open and tilted up towards the sunlight so that they'll get some sunlight down in them, because they'll get sterilized that way too. I rinsed them out, gave them a little swish with the brush, and I'll leave them out here for a week, because hot and ultraviolet light from the sun will kill anything. And then I will reassemble my breeding cage in anticipation of the middle of October, when it will be time to stock it up. So here's the birdies. This is the boys' side right here, and you'll see that instead of their usual bird bath, they have a cereal bowl in there with water, because yesterday I treated them with ivermectin for air sac mites, and the first time you treat them, you have to give them antibiotics for 5 to 7 days afterwards, because birds that have a significant infection, when all the mites die in their air sacs and their airways, they have, little dead bodies inside of themselves rotting away, and it causes them to get infections. So they're getting antibiotics in there, and it's carefully measured, and make sure that they can't get water from any other source. Let's see, this guy right here is having some trouble. He breathes hard. He sits with his wings. He's not very active. He sits with his wings out, kind of panting, even when it's not really all that hot. And that's because he's 2 years old and he has a significant infection. The little guy sitting next to him picked it up last week. He's only 10 weeks old, and I heard him start sneezing and snuffling. And I thought, uh-oh, we got air sac mites. So he's had it for a week. There's not enough mites inside of his body to cause him any serious distress. So he's just getting antibiotics because he is in the cage with everybody else. That's Beryl, and he had a terrible case of it. He's already gotten 2 treatments. One treatment, and he's already been on antibiotics for 5 or 6 days for it, and he'll be on it for 5 or 6 days more. The other one that also had a terrible infestation, oh, that's not Gray. That's Gray. And he's had it for a really long time. I kept treating it like a respiratory infection because I didn't know what it was. He's probably one of the original spreaders of it in this cage. But they're both relatively young. They're just about a year old, but they clearly have had the air sac mites for a long time, because they're really working to get through this. This little guy, I didn't even know he had it until I gave him the medication yesterday, and all of a sudden today, he's coughing and sneezing and carrying on. And he's only about 6 months old, so he must have had it since he was pretty young too. But just another day in the life. Apparently air sac mites are kind of part of the deal. So what I do is, since this is the first time I've treated them, I'll treat them now, run them through the antibiotics, and then give them another treatment in about 2 weeks. They won't need the antibiotics next time, because we're killing off the major part of the population now. And by the time 2 weeks rolls through, their bodies will have cleared themselves of the little dead organisms, and they'll take the next dose without any problem. So there's my girls over here. My awesome little girls. All I can see is the wire here. Oh, let me back off a little bit. There we go. They've got theirs too, because if I'm treating one cage full, I'm treating everybody. There's Vision down there. She can't fly, which is very much a symptom of a severe air mite infestation. She's probably about 2 years old, I think, 2 or 3 years old. And I've been nursing her through this for a while. See, it's hot right now, but you see the baby right here is not stressing over it. There's Fancy right there. She's okay. The rest of them are okay. But Vision is panting. She's got her wings out because without the clear air circulation throughout her respiratory system and air sacs, she's having a harder time staying cool. So she's definitely, again, I've had her on, I treated her first, and I've had her on antibiotics for about 5 days, and she'll be on it for another 5 days. And there's the rest of my girls up there. Oh, look at Kelly. She looks like she's suffering a bit too. See her panting a little bit, whereas the little one next to her is not doing that. And I was sure that Cinnamon would have it, and she looks just as cool as a cucumber. So you never know. That's my little Sparky's little baby girl up there. She's quite a thing, is she? And that's her best buddy, who is Fluffy's baby girl. Those two girls are going to bring me something special. Okay, so the cages will sit out here, and I'll put them away this afternoon. They're made out of metal and plastic, and they're black, so they heat up, they superheat, and are sterilized really quick. The wooden boxes I'll leave out longer, because obviously wood doesn't clean out and heat up that easily. So, and here we are in the big cage. They also have their bowl of antibiotics after an air sac mite treatment. Sparky, you know, this guy, he's probably one of the cleanest birds I've ever gotten. He's been treated for everything, and he's never acted like it really affected him at all. So that's lovely. I fear this girl. Pearl was one of my original air sac bearers, and she's clearly, you see her panting and holding her wings out. It's not that hot yet, honey. Look at Aqua. What the heck are you doing? He's like taking a nap here. Aqua. He says, what? What? What a goofy bird. So, here's my matches. I can hardly wait to, there's talk to your love. I can hardly wait to get these guys bred. Oh, there's Fluffy. Oh, look at her. Now, I knew Sprite had air sac mites, but now we know Fluffy had them too. You see how the other birds on either side of her? Well, actually, Bubba's looking a little hot up there too. But Fluffy's, Sprite had it. He's her mate. So I'm sure she picked it up from him a while ago. He had a bad case of it, and I got dramatic effects from him when I treated him. And then, you know, after treating a bunch of birds, I finally realized, you know, I just need to treat the whole flock. So now I'm finding out that, yeah, she had it too. But she'll gasp and pant for a few days. It's only getting up into the mid-90s today, so it's not going to be killer heat. And then it's cooling off after that. So, and they're getting their antibiotics. So, and these guys otherwise are very healthy birds. I've cleared them of pretty much everything. So these guys look completely nonplussed. Air sac mites, not really, not so much. So they'll, I'm sure that they'll, you know, fight. The ones that had a significant infestation will fight through it without any difficulty. The other one that I saw sneezing a lot was Limey up here. Kind of surprised me, but he is 9 months old, so if he got it when he was young, it could have an effect. And the bird that raised him, that's not really his father, but that raised him, is Storm. And Storm has a terrible infestation. Really, really suffering and grappling to get through it. He will. He's been on antibiotics for about 5 days now, and he's improving. But there was a while there where I was like, I don't know if he's going to be able to make it because he was breathing so hard. So, Limey probably picked it up from him when he was a tiny chick. And that's why at 9 months he's acting like he's got some distress going. So, but other than that, we're looking good. Look at Sprite there. Oh, is that Sprite or is that, let me see, where'd he go? There he is. Is that Sprite or is that Razzle? That's Sprite. You can tell because he has all the bands on his legs. He looks so much better now that I confuse him with Razzle all the time, whereas before he looked, he was always skinnier and smaller. Now he presents very much like Razzle does. But he had a terrible case, and he's probably 1.5 years old. And it hits, you know, the older the bird is, the longer it's been in there cooking around, so I can see why he'd have trouble. And then there's Fluffy, that's his girl. So she probably picked it up from him, but I don't. Oh no, that's not Fluffy. That's Porky. Porky had it too, and to my surprise, had a hard time with it. So weird. Aqua's like, could y'all just leave me alone? I'm trying to sleep. So anyway, I can hardly wait to start for October to roll around. There's Razzle and his girl Lilith. Kiss, kiss, love, love. So that I can start breeding. I am going to go ahead and put all of 2017's breeding updates in their own, you know, list or file or whatever it is on the channel, and start over again with 2018 pretty soon, like probably about in the next month or so. So what'll happen is you'll see the 2017 breeding updates get shifted into a video list, and then I'll start all over again at one. Breeding updates, number 1, breeding update 2018. The 2018 breeding season starts November 1st, so that's what's going to happen. All right.